Radio Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Niket Karunaratne.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
Prime Minister Modi is to visit Sri Lanka in the beginning of next month. Preparations to open new projects and to sign new agreements. Leader of the House Bimal Ratnayaka reveals the using of government funds for personal tours by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Another revelation on smartboard fraud during the past regime. The animal census ends successfully. A three-member committee to look into security and other facilities at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. The Katchathiyu feast joyfully celebrated. The injured Tusker Sumedha joins a herd of elephants, making it difficult for treatment. The IS terrorist leader of Iraq and Syria has been assassinated.
We now move on to those and other stories in detail. Taking a look at local news first. Minister Vijitha Herath said in Parliament today that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to engage in an official tour in Sri Lanka by the beginning of next month.
During the visit, commencement of several projects including the Sampur wind power project and reaching several new agreements of understanding are scheduled to take place. The minister stressed that the present government follows a friendly foreign policy with all countries. Speaking during the debate of the expenditure, the head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, Minister Herath emphasized that the current government has successfully strengthened relations with the international community without creating divisions. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will undertake an official visit to Sri Lanka in early April this year. Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath announced today during his parliamentary speech. Minister Herath said during the visit that the Indian Prime Minister is expected to sign several new agreements with Sri Lanka. The Foreign Minister further said that the Sampur power plant will also be inaugurated by the Indian PM. Additionally, he noted that a delegation from the European Union will visit Sri Lanka next month to assess the GSP concession, with discussions progressing successfully. Minister Herath further explained the government's approach to addressing the resolution passed by the United Nations Human Rights Commission regarding Sri Lanka. Minister Vijitha Herath also informed Parliament that an action task force will be established to address the challenges posed by the evolving global tariff structures resulting from the policies of newly elected US President Donald Trump. He said that Sri Lanka is facing significant challenges due to the tax policies introduced by President Trump. Currently, Sri Lanka exports approximately $3 billion worth of goods to the United States, while imports from the US stand at around $368 million. Given Sri Lanka's substantial export market, it is crucial to assess the impact of these policies, the minister stated. He added that in order to formulate an effective response, experts and scholars have been brought together through the Lakshman Kadragamar Institute of International Relations and Strategic Studies to develop a strategic plan. He said that the initial groundwork is already being laid and necessary measures will be implemented through the newly formed Action Task Force.
An incident of misappropriation of government funds by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe for his personal tour was disclosed in Parliament today by Leader of the House, Minister Bimal Ratnayaka. Leader of the House, Minister Bimal Ratnayaka said that former President Ranil Wickremesinghe attended a New York conference on the 21st and 23rd of September 2023. Although the tour was called an official visit, it was actually a private visit as well. 10 persons took part in the tour with Ranil Wickremesinghe. The group included his wife, a person named Senaratna Disanayake, a doctor and a security advisor as well. The tour cost around 40,000 sterling pounds, which was equivalent to 16.2 million rupees in Sri Lankan currency. The private visit was changed as an official visit in order to make the claims for the tour.
private visit of the president තමයි පටන් ගන්න. හැබැයි දැන් අපිට ලියුමක් හම්බ වෙනවා. ඒකේ private.
The national animal census was conducted successfully throughout the island today.
The main objective of the program is to compile data in order to minimize damages inflicted on crops by animals. Counting has taken place within a 5-minute period from 8 a.m. to 8:05 a.m. today. The aim was to record the number of monkeys, talk monkeys, giant squirrels and peacocks witnessed during the period in the census paper. The national animal counting was being conducted through the direction of Grama Niladaris and was assisted by the Samurdhi Development and Economic Development officials as well as agricultural research and production assistants. The data taken would help to enhance food security and to minimize harvest damages.
සංගණනය කරාද? කරානේ. කොහොමද තාත්තේ?
Animal counting were also conducted throughout the Anuradhapura district, where there is a high density of talk monkeys. The Vavuniya district has also successfully conducted animal census. People in 505 villages in the 102 Grama Niladhara divisions in the district have participated in the program. In the Polonnaruwa district, considered as an area subjected to severe crop damages due to animals, the counting program was carried out successfully with the cooperation of the residents. Grama Niladharis say animal counting program in the Kalutara district was successful. Residents have handed over the papers in which they have recorded the number of animals seen. People in the Badulla district have also actively participated in the animal counting program. Deputy Minister of Agriculture Namal Karunaratne has participated in the census at the Makulpata Viharaya closer to his residence. Animal counting process was conducted successfully in the Kagol district as well. Government officials and farmer organization representatives were successfully engaged in the animal census in the Anuradhapura district near the Indikatusaya and Kaludiyapokuna in Mihintale. They have counted 228 talk monkeys and 65 monkeys during the census period. The Kurunegala district secretary said animal counting was successful in the district. A special iftar ceremony was held yesterday evening at the temple trees in commemoration of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. The event was graced by President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. The event was attended by a significant number of Islamic religious leaders and devotees, and it was held with a strong emphasis on Islamic religious traditions. Deputy Speaker Rizvi Saleh delivered the welcome speech, while the Deputy Minister of National Integration Munir Mulaffar also addressed the gathering. Sheikh Abdullah Shahid Maulavi delivered a special sermon on the significance of the month of Ramadan. President Dissanayake also engaged in a friendly conversation with the attendees of the iftar ceremony. Among the distinguished guests were Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Dr. Hiniduma Sunil Senavi, and Governor of the Western Province, Hanif Yusuf. In the meantime, the annual feast of the St. Anthony's Church in the Kachitivu Island was gallantly celebrated today and yesterday in the presence of a large number of Sri Lankan and Indian devotees. The event was conducted through the guidance of local and Indian Catholic clergymen. The Navy was in charge of provision of all technologically and community-based resources. Minister of Fisheries Ramalingam Chandrasekhar, Navy Commander and Chairperson of the Navy Seva Vanita unit took part in the final feast of the ceremony. The Divisional Secretariat Division officers in the Jaffna district and Delft Island were also involved in providing facilities to the devotees. The Navy had installed a medical center with staff to provide the necessary medical needs. You're watching Rupavahini News. The Slim Canter People's Awards is just around the corner, and in line with this awards ceremony, which is to be held very soon, we have with us the president of Slim to take us through what Slim is all about as well, before we get into what this award ceremony is about and when this will be held. So we have with us the president of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Mr. Gayan Lakshan Pereira. A warm welcome to the Rupavahini studios.
Good evening.
A very good evening to you. So initially, let's talk about as Slim to start off. As a national body of marketing, what can the people expect from Slim, that is especially to the marketing fraternity of the country?
Yeah, as we all know that Slim is the national body of marketing, founded in 1970, incorporated by a parliamentary act in 1982. So Slim is looking at three areas. So one thing is, number one is marketing education, because first of all we need to produce marketers to the nation, marketers who are future ready as well as industry ready. So that's our first task. So number two is basically those who are in the fraternity, marketing fraternity, upskilling them and enhancing their competencies to perform their jobs better and to contribute to their organizations in a better way. So that's number two. And third one is the national contribution. So that's the three core areas where Slim is involved in. Education wise, we have so far, I think we have produced 10,000 qualified marketers to the country. During the past, I think now we are almost 54 years. So we have produced such qualified people, as well as then in terms of training programs, we do a lot of training programs for the corporate sector, public programs, as well as customized corporate training programs for the companies depending on their training need analysis or requirements. So when it comes to award ceremonies, so the topic today, so Slim conducts a number of awards competitions, which is the primary focus is to elevate the standards and also the skill level of the marketers who are working in those organizations. So we have award ceremonies for different disciplines. So we have for sales, we have the National Sales Awards. For the brand marketeers, we have the Slim Brand Excellence. Then we have for the advertising fraternity, we have FE Awards. That's a US franchise that we are conducting. Then for the digital marketing community, we do have the Slim Digis. So these are all areas. And then for marketers to get the marketing research practice into their activities or their operations. So we have established Slim Canter People's Awards. So this is predominantly to establish how customer insights are very important for marketers in their decision making. We want to inculcate that culture versus intuitive decision making to customer, like data and insight based decision making. So and in terms of national contribution, I'll talk about two major initiatives that we conducted. We worked with IDB, Industrial Development Board, and we developed the evaluation framework for the National Industry Brand Excellence Program, including the jury process. So Slim was the strategic partner for that. And number two is the launch of the ABLE project, that is in line with the government mandate as well, in empowering differently able communities. We call it people with disabilities.
That's more into inclusivity, isn't it?
Inclusivity, and we launched a charter so that we are committed in line that is in collaboration with the CIPMs, the HR body of Sri Lanka, so that we will be working very closely with the organizations and facilitating these PWAs and how they could be better utilized for the organizational activities and thereby the economic contribution.
Yes, and you did take us through the People's Awards, but it's kind of just around the corner, isn't it?
Yes.
So why don't you elaborate a little bit more on how this is conducted?
Yeah, so People's Awards, unlike any other, there are quite similar awards in the market, but those are not research based or proper scientific research based. So this is actually, we are working with Kanta Sri Lanka, that is a multinational research agency. In collaboration with them, we are conducting a research survey using 6,100 sample, which is fairly a very big representation in Sri Lanka, considering all the combinations like demographics. We talk about age, gender, ethnicities, then urban-rural mix, and also their socio-economic class. So we will look at the fair distribution of these factors in the country, and our sample will represent those. And what we check is actually the brands, that is products, services, as well as personalities who are closer to their heart. So that what we are saying is, what is the portion of the heart share those brands have taken.
This has emotional values.
Emotional value, because this is a spontaneous question we ask, the researchers ask. So what comes is basically, which is not planned, which is already there in their, engraved in their heart. So it's a very long process for marketers to get to that level. I mean, it has to be a systematic, also a very long-term plan and activities which will lead to that. You cannot achieve this overnight. So that is the result of it, and these are all based on research. So we want to highlight the importance of research in marketing decision making.
And when is it held?
It will be on the 18th of March at Monarch Imperial. So we are expecting a crowd. This time we are giving awards, 55 awards categories, and we are expecting a crowd maybe around 750. That includes winners from product brands, service brands, then celebrities, media company like media networks. So we will awarding we call it the people's choice. So and also there are two categories. We have the youth category, specifically targeting out of the 6,100 sample, there is a certain portion will go for the youth segment, that is 15 to 25 age group, and then the general category, that is 15 to 60 age category.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gayan Lakshan Pereira, for letting us know about SLIM in a nutshell, and also taking us through the awards you have and also what you do towards the marketing fraternity of the country. And all the very best. I know it's not easy organizing an event, so all the very best with that as well.
Right, thank you.
Thank you so much. And we continue with the news.
So a 3-member committee has been appointed to investigate and furnish a report on the provision of proper security and facilities for the staff at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. It was appointed by Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Anil Jasinghe. Director of Health Services in the Northwestern Province, Consultant Physician Dr. M.K. Sampath Indikakumara is the chairman of the committee. Other members are WUK Cruz of the Administration of Health Ministry and the Investigating Officer of the Ministry, OBJ De Silva. It has been pointed out that investigations revealed there were many administrative shortcomings in the hospital for the past several years and no proper management to provide necessary protection to the hospital staff. Accordingly, the Secretary of the Ministry should receive a full report of the committee with the necessary observations and recommendations before the 24th of this month.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya met Pamela Rosemary Coke Hamilton, Executive Director of the International Trade Centre, at the Parliament recently. During the meeting, both parties engaged with a discussion of key economic priorities, including digital transformation, SME development and women's economic empowerment. Discussions focused on integrating small and medium enterprises into the broader economy, enabling greater participation of youth and women, and implementing investment-friendly policies to ensure long-term economic stability. The Prime Minister reiterated the government's commitment to strengthening the rural economy, identifying key sectors such as tourism, exports, energy, IT, education and technical and vocational education and training. Strengthening partnerships with the ITC and the Sri Lanka Export Development Board was recognized as vital for boosting exports, particularly in organic products. The meeting was also set the stage for further collaboration, with Sri Lanka's participation in the upcoming Global Summit in July expected to advance these discussions.
Now, in the meantime, the police say 2 persons were brutally killed using sharp instruments near a railway line in the Grand Pass Police Division at dawn today. The victims were residents of Navalokapura, Sedavatta, aged 21 and 22 years. The Grand Pass Police Station is conducting investigations into the incident, which is reported to have occurred due to a clash between 2 groups in the area. A person was killed in a shootout in front of a Buddha statue at the Idamthara junction in Kuligoda, Ambalangoda last evening. The deceased was reported to have been a 39-year-old father of 4 children. The suspect taken into custody in connection with an incident at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital was produced before the Anuradhapura Magistrates Court yesterday. The suspect was ordered to be remanded until the 17th of this month, when he is scheduled to be produced before an identification parade. Another stage of the island-wide crime and drug-related operations had got underway in Akmimana yesterday. The police say they were able to apprehend a 73-year-old person in the search operation with several firearms. The police special task force has been successful in detecting a cannabis cultivation discreetly maintained in Aluggala in Hambewagamua yesterday.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said in Parliament today that the previous regime had purchased smart boards for 1,000 schools without calling tenders in the open market. She further said an investigation is being conducted to find whether any irregularities which occurred in the 1.7 billion rupee project. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that in July 2024, the process of purchasing 1,000 smart boards commenced. It was part of a donor project by the Chinese government that also included networking facility of relevant smart boards. However, purchase of smart boards took place prior to the final agreement of the Chinese project. Telecommunication Regulatory Commission spent 1.7 billion rupees for the process of purchasing smart boards, and another sum of 430 million rupees paid through the State Trading Corporation for servicing and installation of smart boards. The Prime Minister pointed out, as the final agreement over the Chinese government donor project was not still completed, the purchased smart boards could not be utilized for the academic purposes as planned. The Prime Minister told Parliament that it was evident that the whole purchasing process was conducted in an extreme rush.
A special meeting between Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayathish Santosh Jha has taken place at the Ministry of Health and Mass Media recently. The objective is to further strengthen long-standing bilateral friendship and diplomatic relations. On this occasion, the Indian High Commissioner has handed over to Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayathish a consignment of 50,000 furosemide vials valued at 1 million rupees to be used in government hospitals. The meeting has also dealt with extensive focus on projects to be implemented by the Ministry of Health and Mass Media. The Indian High Commissioner has specifically praised the program to commence 1,000 primary health centers covering the entire island with the objective of strengthening primary health facilities. It has also been pointed out that a transformative change in the health service is being anticipated as a result of the large allocations of state funds for health service. High Commissioner Santosh Jha has reiterated that India would extend maximum cooperation as the friendly neighbour. Minister Dr. Jayathish said that the main aim of the government is to provide quality medicine free of charge continuously to the people. Such medicines would also be issued to the market at reasonable prices. The minister further said that a combination of Western and Ayurvedic medical services will be implemented for the benefit of tourists. Ministry Secretary, Consultant Physician Dr. Anil Jasinghe was also present on this occasion.
The World Consumer Rights Day falls today. The Clean Sri Lanka program has planned to implement a project to create an attitudinal growth in society to protect consumer rights in parallel to this event. A discussion to enlighten the relevant groups in this regard was held at the President's office today under the leadership of President's Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanath Kumanayaka. The event was attended by the officials of the Ministries of Health and Agriculture as well. The meeting has also focused attention on the measures to be taken by the Clean Sri Lanka program to enhance the policies and plans on food standardizing and quality to a practical level. Other issues that came under attention were fulfilling the national targets of the Ministry of Agriculture and amalgamation of the Clean Sri Lanka program on protection of crops and storage of produce. The meeting was also dealt with the issues of certifying restaurants, regularizing the street vendors, registering of locations of selling foods in the streets and registering of food selling vehicles.
Acceptance of nominations for the local government election 2025 is scheduled to commence at the returning officers in all 25 districts in the island at 8:30 a.m. on the 17th of this month. The nominations acceptance procedure will take place until 12 noon on the 20th of this month. Acceptance of deposits will take place until 12 noon on the 19th of this month. Placing of deposits for the local government poll was conducted today as well. The National People's Power, Samagi Jana Balavega and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna had placed deposits for 13 local government institutions in the Trincomalee district yesterday. The Langai Tamil Arasakachi party had placed deposits for all the local government institutions in the Trincomalee district other than the 3 local government bodies of Kamtale, Padavishripura and Gomarang Kadawala. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna had also placed deposits for all local government institutions in the Trincomalee district yesterday. The All Ceylon People's Congress had also placed some deposits for local government institutions in the Trincomalee district. A media briefing of the Sarvajana Balaya party was held in Colombo today, where placing signatures took place. Former State Minister Thenuka Vidanagamage said that the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna has handed over nominations.
The wildlife officials connected to the operation to treat the Sumedha tusker continue to remain in the area where it was found yesterday. They further say it is difficult to isolate and treat the elephant as it is roaming with a herd of elephants. Sumedha elephant was located in Lower Ambatale area after a week-long search operation last evening. As the elephant continues to remain with its herd, it has become difficult for the officials to isolate it and to engage in medical treatment. However, the officials believe the injured tusker is relatively in good health. The Department of Wildlife says the officials are awaiting the arrival of the elephant in an open area in order to provide speedy medical treatment. Well, that's it on Local Stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
You can make a difference. It is your duty to help eradicate dengue. Clean up your environment at least once a week. A message from the Dengue Control Unit of the Ministry of Health.
A senior Islamic State group leader in Iraq and Syria has been killed in an operation by members of the Iraqi National Intelligence Service along with US-led coalition forces, the Iraqi Prime Minister has said. As Abu Khadija was considered one of the most dangerous terrorists in Iraq and the world, according to Iraq Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, US President Donald Trump said he was relentlessly hunted down by intrepid war fighters. The US Central Command said it conducted a precision airstrike in Iraq's western Al-Anbar province.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
We move on to sports news now. The cross-country women's event of the 49th National Sports Festival was won by Metmi Vijaysurya of the Eastern Province.
The men's event was secured by M. Sivarajan representing the Central Province. The cross-country running events of the National Sports Festival, organised by the Ministry of Sports and the Department of Sports Development, were held at the Nuwara Golf Course this morning. Minister of Sports Sunil Kumar Gamage, Deputy Minister of Sports Sugat Tilakaratne and officials of the Sports Ministry were present on this occasion. 88 male and 50 female competitors representing the 9 provinces had taken part. Metmi Vijay Surya had finished the 10-kilometer female event in 38 minutes and 40.93 seconds. Chamini Herath of the Central Province has clinched the second place and Vatsala Herath of the Central Province the third place. M. Sivarajan won the 10-kilometer men's race in 34 minutes and 20.31 seconds. M.S. Pushpakumara of the Western Province came second, and the third place was secured by D.H. Kumara. And that's all the news for tonight. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.